Okay, let's see. Good morning. Hello, good morning, and happy Tech Talk Tuesday. This is Michael Damon here. And today is Tuesday. Today is actually Tech Talk Tuesday, and we're going to talk a little bit of today about email marketing. So I need to do the usual, the routine. Just need to go ahead and do some quick testing. If you're watching and you can hear me, please go ahead and leave a comment below and let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know that you can hear me. Let me take a quick look. I got to give a couple shares here. Let's see. I got my first comment. Good morning, Wendy. Thanks for tuning in. How are you? Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about email marketing. I'm going to go and talk about the importance of it because I recently became certified with Constant Contact. I've been using it for a very long time, but I recently became certified, decided to take it to the next level. And that unlocks some access to some resources that I think is very useful for me, but then also useful educational information for my clients. So what I want to do is share some of that information with you today. I see that Wendy is here watching with us. Hello, Wendy. Thank you for confirming that you can hear me. Let me go ahead and just give a couple shares in a couple of groups here so that I can make sure that our Be Well for Women community are tuned in and everybody from We Merge Media is tuned in. If you can also go ahead and just give a share and share this in the places that you think there are people who are business owners who may find this information helpful and beneficial for them in their business. So let me go ahead and do that. But again, if you're just tuning in, please go ahead down below. Let us know who you are and where you are tuning in from. You can even add a link to your business if you want to tell us about your business and who you are so people can connect with you because you never know. People may actually need what it is you have to offer. So welcome again to Tech Talk Tuesday. My name is Michael Demond, and I'm the owner of We Merge Media. And if you're not familiar with me, every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, I go live to talk about a new tech-related, marketing-related, small business-related topic. So today we're going to talk about email marketing because honestly, today you can't do business online, grow, get clients, and really do all that stuff without technology. And what I'm finding is like even with technology, even the technology is advancing quite a bit, where there's actually a lot of artificial intelligence being incorporated into the software. So what I like to do is learn about these things and then break these things down for you, the small business owner, just so that you can understand what people are doing today, and hopefully you'll find something that you may be able to use in your own business. So every Tuesday, I look to bring a new topic and a new feature to you. So let me just give a quick share here, and then I'm going to take a look at the comments to see who's watching with us. All right, letting them know I am live. Here we go in the Be Well group. Perfect. If you have any business groups that you would like to do this with as well, feel free. Let me stop that. Okay. All right, cool. So again, thanks for tuning in. I think my screen is being shared. Is it? Let me see. Okay. It tells me my screen is being shared. Let's see. No, it's not. Okay, cool. Good morning, Providers Helper. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for confirming that you can hear me loud and clear. Appreciate that. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to talk to you today about email marketing. And one of the things that I was pretty surprised by is that a lot of people, once social media kind of became the thing, a lot of people felt that yeah, I am sharing my screen. Okay, there we go. A lot of people felt that email marketing was dead and gone, and I want to let you know that that's totally not true. And for people who have been using it for a very long time, they've been actually reaping the benefits. So I wanted to just share a few facts that I found very informational and kind of insightful to be like, huh. I really did slow down and I started focusing a lot over the past 2 years on social media. And I kind of really got lazy when it came to my email marketing. And now, since I've kind of typing back into this and kind of reacquainting myself with Constant Contact, I've gone through a lot of training and those sorts of things. I'm finding that there is still a great amount of value in us using email marketing, not only just to kind of keep in contact with our current clients, but also for you to be able to incorporate that with your social media to do some lead generation and to bring new people into your business. So I'm going to just kind of share some facts that I thought were pretty insightful with you. I'm going to try and do this on a screen share. Hopefully it's not an ugly screen share. I don't like ugly screen shares. But what I think I might need to do in the future is just kind of get another screen so that I don't get that tunnel vision that we had last week. But I'm going to go ahead and give it a try and see if I can share this PowerPoint slide with you. So just 1 second. Let me go ahead and get that set. And then I am going to share my screen, this screen here, and switch over. All right, so let me just take a quick look. Hopefully that looks good. I think it should look good. And you should still be able to hear me. I'm taking a look at my laptop here on the side just so I can make sure that the view that is there is actually the view that I want. Let me take a quick second here. I think this topic is going to be real good for today because there's a lot of us. Oh, perfect. Only thing I see I need to do is just kind of turn off my my little header thing. Let me turn it off. Oh, yes, you are absolutely. I'm going to just kind of share. Let me turn this brand thing off here. I want to turn it off. Here we go. So I just had a message from a comment from Garcia, and she talked about how let me not show there. Email marketing has allowed her website to pay for itself. And that's really the goal. Is like when you're using these things and you have the right systems in place, you can honestly automate things in a way so that, you know, you can be having your software pay for itself. I'm all about making things pay for itself. I think car, you know, like anything that you can do to have it pay for itself is best. So then people usually kind of balk about, oh, well, how much is software? How much is the service? You know, how much are going to come out of pocket? But when you're using the software correctly, you really get the benefit and you can actually make that pay for itself. And beyond that, start bringing revenue and income into your business. So let's just talk a little bit about email marketing and why it's important. If you think about what is the #1 app on people's smartphone, I thought this was pretty clever. And what the #1 app is email. Now I think about like how much I use my email when I'm on the go and how important it is for me to do that. Like one of the first things that we do when we get our smartphones is make sure that our inboxes and our email is set up. So more than half of the emails that are opened are actually opened on a mobile device. Now, an interesting fact about this is that more people own a mobile phone than actually own a toothbrush, which means huge opportunities for us as business owners through email. Now, the other few facts about email is that people read it, believe it or not. You know, you often will, you know, if you're doing email marketing now, you may know that there's an open rate and there's a certain amount of people who may open your emails. But the fact is, like email overall, 91% of people actually check their email daily, and 88% of people regularly check their email on their smartphones. So what's key about that is just kind of keeping in mind is that, you know, usually I work from my desktop quite a bit, and that's important for me because I like the large screen, but that's because I work from home and I'm not out and about as much. But for a lot of business owners who are on the move, like if you're a real estate agent or if you're someone who has a face-to-face business and you have a brick and mortar store, you may actually be on the go constantly. And that mobile phone is the best source of access to your email. So why I think that is important is just that it's important to keep in mind when you're sending information out that people are usually going to be reading it from a mobile device, and you want to make sure whatever information that you're sending is going to be readable for them. Make sure that it's something that they're going to be able to digest quickly and also be able to see clearly. So by raise of hands, I'm just kind of curious to the people who are watching, like how many of you check your email the first thing in the morning when you wake up, or the last thing that you do before you go to bed? Many of us can relate to this on a daily basis, and so you can. So does your audience. So email works because it brings you to where your customer is, and that's in the inbox at least a couple times a day that they're there. Another thing about email is that it's reliable. Email gets delivered 90% of the time. Whereas if you have your Facebook page, for example, and you're just talking about like organic reach, Facebook posts nowadays are only reaching about 2% of your fans. And I talk to a lot of my clients about this because nowadays you really have to be kind of paying for exposure on Facebook. And you have to do those paid advertising or those sponsored ads because they're only showing the people who follow your page. About 2% of those people, they're they're only showing your actual ad. So email marketing is hard to beat. It's where everyone is these days. And for everything from updates to providing service to messages, people are constantly in their email throughout the day. So let's talk about why email. And one of the main things is because it works everywhere. So it doesn't matter if somebody's on a mobile device or if somebody is on their computer, email is going to be accessible to them. And it's something that gets to them directly. It's clear that email is everywhere. But what does this mean to your business? So when it comes to our business, email marketing has 3 times the conversion rate as social media. So the time you spend to create and send an email will reap much greater rewards than it will on social media. For every dollar that is spent on email marketing, there is a average $44.25 return on investment ROI, which means that the money you spend on your email marketing budget will come back to you multiple times over. So I think that's key because a lot of us, definitely social media is something that we have to still play a part in. But the goal for me when I'm using social media is really to kind of get people into my ecosystem of my business. So that's usually either getting an email address, most times getting a phone number, getting some type of way that you can communicate with them outside of that social media platform. And you want to make sure that you have that in place. First impressions matter. So how do we make sure that you're doing the right thing and that it's effective? When someone opens your email, they'll give it a 2-second glance. So this is interesting to me because, I've had times where I had to make emails for clients and there's like tons of content, tons of information. And I'm like, this is way too wordy. Like people are going to give it 2-3 seconds. They're going to look at it and they're going to decide if what it's about and if it's for them. That's typically what it is. And if you do it right and you catch their attention in that 2 to 3 second glance, then you may get them to continue on and scroll through to the rest. What they see is going to determine what they do next. Maybe you want them to visit your website or register for an event or donate to your nonprofit or try a new product. This is where professional looking email design is going to be crucial because it's really going to make a difference as to what that client does next once they get that. So what I want to do is just kind of take a second to kind of break down to you the 7 elements of an email design. And these are things that are all play a part in what action people take when you send your emails out. Now, if you're someone who does email marketing currently, I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of the things that I'm going to point out. But if you're not, these are things that you want to take in consideration in the future, regardless of what platform that you're using. You want to be taking these things in consideration when you're designing your emails. So one of them is going to be the header. The header is the thing that you set in the top. You'll see the from field so people know who that email is coming from. There's a reply address. So if somebody gets your email, they have a question, they can reply back to it. That's called the pre-header. The pre-header is the part, when you open an inbox or you get an email, you'll see who it's from. You'll see the subject line, but sometimes you get a little glimpse of some text that gives you a little bit more description about what's inside that email. That's considered the pre-header. Other crucial and important things to make sure that you do in your email design is logos and color. So if you're building your brand identity and you want people to kind of get familiar with seeing that, that's something that you want to make sure that you incorporate into your email designs. Usually a big image. Number 4 is having an image that's going to capture people's attention. And remember, I said you only have 2 to 3 seconds. So you got to make sure during those 2 to 3 seconds that you have something that's going to say, hey, this is what this is about, and this is relevant for you. Next is going to be the message body. So this is if you did well, you held their attention for the 2 to 3 seconds. This is where you're going to be able to then sell them on the next step and kind of lead into whatever call to action you want them to do. That's the message body where you have the header and all that. And then there's the call to action. So usually I usually tell clients that let's have one action in the email. If you want to do multiple things, you want to talk to multiple people, then let's kind of break that out and let's do multiple emails. But let's kind of keep it simple because remember, we don't have a whole lot of time. We have an opportunity to get people to do something and take an action. If you give them too many choices, then you end up getting no action at all. So let's kind of go ahead and do the next and talk a little bit about, there we go. What we're going to cover today in the time that we have. So what I'm doing with this is basically kind of giving you a general introduction and want to communicate to you the value of email marketing and how you have to incorporate it in your business today. And then also at the end of this, give you an opportunity where if you need some help with this, that you can reach out to me and we can get something going for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to grow your email list. To start, we'll talk about how to grow your list to send to. So it's important that you're gathering emails that you can send to, how to write content of the email, and how you can add in supporting visuals to catch their attention. Then we'll talk about how you can create call to action. I'll provide some examples and how some best practices that you can follow. And then last, I'll talk about how to finalize and send an email. So here I just gave a little introduction to myself. My email address is on the screen. So again, I'll be able to, in the end, give you a way to reach out to me if you need some help with this. But just want to let you know that with the right software and with the right support, you can do this. A lot of people feel overwhelmed with technology oftentimes, and I totally understand. I'm somebody who sits here all day, and when I'm working or when I'm not working, so I listen to music sometimes, but often I'm spending time with technology, and I'm kind of getting caught up on what's new, what's latest, finding out what things are out there that I can use for my clients. So with a little bit of time and with some guidance, you can definitely do this. I don't want people to be afraid of this being something that's outside of their scope. If you can't do it on your own, at least know that you can get some support with it. So let's talk a little bit about how to grow your email list and some ways that you can do that. First thing is that there are a variety of ways that people can sign up to your list, but the best way to get permission is for them to explicitly say yes to receiving emails from you. There are laws out there that prevent you from spamming people. So you have to make sure that you're giving people an opportunity to agree to receive communications from you so that you don't end up getting your email address and your business blocked, or what they call delisted. So that's important that you always get permission from people. Sometimes you can get this verbally. You'll do this if you have like a sign up sheet in your office, or you'll be able to do this if you have a social media thing and there's a form people send out. There's also usually a way in that so people can say, yes, I agree, or yes, I consent to do this. So just think about the last time that you signed up for an email. I know I do it quite often because there's usually some free resources or something that somebody offers that I want to use. So think about how did you sign up and what that process is like, and always keep that in mind as to what your clients may be like. Maybe you were in the store making a purchase and they asked you, or maybe you saw a link to sign up on the Facebook page. Facebook has a lead generation thing that allows you to be able to do some of that. So there are a number of ways that you can get people on that list, and I want to make sure that you know what those categories and ways to do so. So ones I mentioned is in person, another is online, and then a third would be like in your print media. So you can often put something inside print media, asking people to subscribe or to join, giving them a place to go. So if you're distributing or doing like a direct mail, you can usually give people an offer and say, hey, go sign up on our email list to get future blah, 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 or to get some free shipping or to get this introductory offer. Usually people are willing to do that if you give them something in exchange. So here are 3 ways that you will be able to collect email addresses. Now, if you're going to do it in-person interactions is really anywhere that you're dealing with a client. I've been in stores oftentimes and they'll have a list and they'll ask for my email address, or sometimes when I go to like a Ross or a Marshalls or something like that, they'll ask, what's your email address? I always ask them what it's for, but usually what they're doing is they're asking your permission to put that on the list. So think about how you might be able to incorporate some of those things and when you can do that. In person, you can do it while making purchases, when helping someone is another, and at events. That's a great way too, that collect email addresses at events. Let's talk about some of the print methods. So signage at your location, asking people to enter their email address. Nowadays, you can actually use like a QR code. So if you have like a signage and you have a brick and mortar location, having a sign or something that people can scan with their phone to get them to go to a form and fill their email, that's a great way to be able to do that. On your business cards is another great way. I think the QR code is good for that. So if you're meeting somebody and you want to kind of take it to that next step rather than waiting for them to contact you, give them that QR code, let them scan that and let them sign up right away. Same thing on your flyers and your brochures and direct mail. I think those are all great ways to be able to do that if you have print marketing materials. Another option you see is using text to sign up. So there's a lot of software out there nowadays where people can opt in to receive emails from you through text message. And there are quite a few software systems out there to do that. That goes pretty deep. I won't cover it in here. I'm just going to kind of keep it high level for now. But I just want to kind of share with some of these methods that you can do and kind of keep in mind how you interact with people and where you might be able to ask for those email addresses. So on your website is one that everyone's usually pretty familiar with, having like a pop-up or having like an email newsletter form. On social media, it's again, I talked about the lead forms, and even in your email signature, that's something that I have not taken advantage of, and I will. But usually we all have an email signature, and I know I have one. I just have a link right now to my website. But what I'm going to do is add a signature line in there and say, hey, would you like to be notified about future offerings or future events or free trainings? Think about something that you might be able to offer in your business and put that right in the signature email. That way, anybody you're communicating with will always have access to that. And then if you're doing any online promotion, forms, purchases, or donations, those are all great ways to be able to collect email addresses online. So now let's talk a little bit about how to write an email and the types of email that you send. So here are two examples, and I'm going to kind of give you the difference between the two. Before we talk about what to put in your email, I just want to kind of touch base on the fact that not all emails should be promotions to sell your products or your services, or to ask for donations if you're a nonprofit. No one likes to be sold all of the time. You're going to want a variety of different types of emails that keep your business and your organization type of mind. So with email marketing, you want to build a relationship with your audience that over time encourage them to continue to do business with you. That's why you want to include a mixture of theme-based and informational emails. As a reminder, time-based emails are when you have time-sensitive information like your sales, promotions, or events. And then informational emails focus on sharing information that helps you connect with your readers. This is where you can provide valuable content that helps you support your products and services and keep people in the know about what it is that you do. So I really kind of like the informational format, because what that does for you, it gives a lot of value for people to be able to understand what it is you have to offer, and then gives them an opportunity to say, hey, this person really appears to be an expert on this topic or somebody who's knowledgeable about this. Let me reach out to them. So they can use these types of emails in those cases. All right, cool. So here is just an example of a subject line. Subject lines are critical when it comes to sending emails, because as I mentioned before, you have 2 to 3 seconds to get people's attention. So when you start creating the email campaign, you can follow whatever workflow works best for you. But here in this instance, we created like a master template. So the from and the reply email addresses are always set up with the header information in the header information. So if you have to get creative with you to entice your readers, you can do so, but it's always good in the subject line to be able to think about, what do I need to say here that's going to make people say this is something that I'm interested in, or something that is relevant to me. So here's a couple different ideas on how you can use your subject line. You can try using you or your, so that kind of personalizes a bit. All right, hopefully I have a message here that my voice is getting low. Hopefully you can still hear me okay. So let me know in the comments if it's better. I may have been talking low. Let me know if it's better. But a couple of creative ways is that you can use in the subject line is to personalize it by using you or your. Those are great because it kind of speaks to people. You can create a sense of urgency. So like last chance to register. If you have an event coming up and it's getting close to the deadline, that will be a great way to create some urgency in the subject line. Make them laugh. Humor is always memorable. Humor is something that most people can relate to. Giving it something funny, something clever, something that's going to make them be like, okay, you kind of broke the ice with me. Let's see what this is about. You can also pull at their hearts. So like take a 5 minutes to help children in need. That's something that most people would be sensitive to, and something that people will do. So I think about that being great for a nonprofit organization who does work in that area, giving people an opportunity to want to add some value to the world and be helpful. You can pique their interest. So you don't want to miss this. This kind of creates that sense of, what is he talking about? What don't I want to miss? That will make people kind of click through and read your email. And you can ask a question. Are your investments working for your business? This is another great strategy when it comes to creating subject lines. And then last but not least, using numbers. So we see this all the time in news articles. I see this in social media posts where they're giving you like a certain number of tips or certain number of ways to be able to do something. So these are all great examples of subject lines that you can use when you're creating your subjects. Now let's talk a little bit about best practices and things that you don't want to do. So typing in all caps, most of us know that usually means like you're kind of yelling. Take the time to type in sentence case or title case, but don't use all caps. Also, don't use excessive punctuation and symbols. That's something that, again, does not meet any of those things that we talked about in the previous slide about strategies to get people to want to take action or to pay attention. So always kind of keep that thing in mind. And then last but not least, making sure that you do not mislead, don't lie, don't say things just because you want people to get the click, get the open. Like, you're still building a relationship here. You want to make sure that the relationship that you're building is based on truth and trust. Okay. Now that you have some ideas about a subject line, let's kind of go back and talk about another section of your header information. And that is the pre-header text. So when you get an email, usually you look in your inbox, you'll see that you have an email from someone, and then you'll usually get maybe a line of text that tells you a little bit about what this is about. So this displays like right after and below the subject line in the inbox. The pre-header is where you can add a little context to what the email is about. Usually recommend keeping that to about 5 to 8 words. And the reason is because it cuts off. There's a character limit in the pre-header field in people's inbox. So if you go beyond that and you put like your most important keywords that you wanted to communicate at the end, chances are it's going to get cut off. So make sure that you put those keywords in the first 5 or 8 words. Okay. Now let's talk about pairing pre-header text with your subject line. Now, this is going to give you a good example about how those subject lines can kind of lead to the pre-header text. So in the first example, we talked about using you or your. Okay. John, schedule your consultation today. John will then see personalized tips to lead a happier life. So if that's relevant to John, if that's something that John wants to use, he hasn't clicked the email, he hasn't opened the email yet. We just have some information there that kind of entices him to want to be able to do so and to click that and to take that action. Creating a sense of urgency. Here again, our subject line was last chance, register by Friday. Reserve your spot today. Our class fills quickly. So you see how you want to make sure that you're keeping in mind how that pre-header text ties back to the subject line. Now, I know this is kind of some deep level stuff, but I'm hoping that, if you can't stay for this whole thing, that you come back and you watch the replay, because all of these are great if you're doing your own email marketing, great strategies to follow it, and things that are going to help you increase your call to actions in those emails by setting it up this way. So here's another pairing with the make them laugh, read between the two lines, enter your photo for a chance to win big. So these are just a couple examples of how your subject line and your pre-header play with each other and how you can kind of use these two to increase how many people open your email and then follow and take action. Just share. I won't go through all those. I'll just share a couple of those with you. Okay. All right. So now we're going to talk about a supporting image. So this example here is that this is obviously about bikes. I know that because I see the picture of the bike. I see it's called South Side Cycling. So you want to make sure that whatever email you design, that you have a captivating image there that's going to be relevant to the audience and then relevant to your business. So this right away lets me know what this is about. And I have that big bold headline, spring models have arrived. Like, this is laid out perfectly. It's not misleading. It's telling me what it's about. There's a little bit of context to kind of lead me through, and then I can see, view new models. So this is an example of a workflow that you'll want to follow when you're using your email. Most cell phones are able to capture good pictures. So if you are somebody who has a product or something that you make, you can get a good quality picture nowadays with your cell phone. Or if you are using something general and it's not a product or a service that you're selling, use the stock images. I know in Constant Contact you have access to that, but there are a number of different websites out there that allow you to be able to download some free images that are high quality. So here, let's talk about video and animated GIFs. Now, you'll see the difference here. I wanted to kind of point a couple things out to you. So visuals are essential in parts of the email. Beyond images, you can also use video and what we call like animated GIFs. Those are images that kind of flash back and forth. These also make good visuals in email, and if you have the right software, you should be able to use them. But these are some additional ways that you can build some relationship with your readers. Now, using videos in email can boost open rates by 8 times. Just be sure to add the word video in the subject line to increase the open rate, because people will want to know that there's a video in there that's going to play. Now, the thing that I want to point out about videos is that when people click this, it's going to take them to wherever that video is hosted. It's not going to play in the inbox itself. So that play button usually makes people click on it, and then there's your click. Then they go over and they'll watch whatever video you have. So you want to make sure that that video is clear, keep it brief, and making sure that it supports whatever your mission or your objective is with that email. Okay. Now, when it comes to writing copy, what to say and how to say it, I'm going to talk about for-profit businesses, and then we'll talk about some ideas for some nonprofits. So this is one of the things that seem to trip people up is knowing what to say and how to say it. And I totally get it because writing content is not easy. We don't always have top of mind what it is that we want to say. So, you need to kind of do this ahead of time before you actually jump into the software and start writing. But here are a couple of things to kind of give you some idea of how to structure these. So in your headline, what are you offering? Keep it brief and have a headline that's going to be very clear to the reader, what it is that you're offering in this email. The next is how will what you're offering help them? So that's the message body. From there, you want to talk about the thing that you pointed out in the headline and then give them some supporting information to talk about how that will help them. And then we have what should they do next? So if I think that, hey, here's a headline, here's how it helps me, I'm going to take action. If I've done my job and I've targeted this email to the right people, this is a workflow that people will follow. And it works every time when you're sending to the right people. So keep this structure in mind. Now, if you're a nonprofit organization, what might you say and how might you say it? So what are you trying to accomplish? Nonprofit organizations are mission driven. They have a mission and they have something that they're working towards. So you can use the headline for that to try to call out what it is you're trying to accomplish. Next, why should the reader care? So why should they care about that? You can then put that information in the body of your email blast. And then last but not least, how can the reader get involved? What action should they take again? Whether it be to share photos or to write a letter or to make a donation. This is what you'll want to use this for. Okay. All right. So now on this one here, now that those questions will be different for those of you who are nonprofits, in this case, you'll want to use 3 questions instead. So let's go through these. For your headline, you'll want to answer, what are you trying to accomplish? Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second here. There we go. All right. I was the previous one reading my wrong notes. At this point, we've covered what to put in the body of your email campaign. And then before I move on, I just want to touch base on how important it is to keep your email simple. This is something that I see get done incorrectly all the time. So simplicity makes an email easy to read and quicker for you to create. It works for both you and for the person who's receiving it. So in order to inspire your readers to take action, you've got to keep your email short and sweet. When you copy like a master template, so like we have a master template you can create in your account so that you don't have to create a template every time, just use the same one. You can kind of follow this formula. This is how you're going to create successful emails every single time. A picture, a paragraph, a call to action. A picture, a paragraph, to call to action. Just kind of drill that into your head next time you're designing an email to follow this template and this model. All right, we're almost at the end here, so we're going to talk a little bit about how to design a call to action and what is a call to action. So here's an example here on the screen about call to action. You'll see that green button. That's usually what people will look to is like, what are you calling people to do? So a call to action basically is a way that you drive your email reader to take action. Sometimes it's to make a purchase, sometimes it's to volunteer or to sign up for something. But your call to action is what is going to help you reach your goals. So every email you send should have one call to action, even if as simple as driving people to your website or finding out more information or to read your blog or to simply see a list of products or services that you offer. So in your email, you'll want to include a button with action words that link directly to where people can go to take action. And then probably a million different call to actions you could have, over time, but always keep in mind, just having one call to action, very clear, and making sure that that button that you use is going to have a clear thing for them. So here's a couple examples of like some action that you can use for making a purchase. Order yours today. They're going fast. Get yours. Schedule a consultation. Donate now. Just a few examples. You can link, if you're putting these either as text or as a button, you can link them to your scheduling tool or your website or your product or your service. These are just a couple examples you can follow there. Give them a deal. So if you want people to take action, it's important that you make sure that you give them a reason to take action. So it could be to save, it could be to buy now and get a discount, get a coupon, unwrap some type of surprise deal. Those are all examples of ways that you can do that. Now, if you're promoting your social media through email, here are some examples that you can use to get people to take action. Be our friend, Like us on Facebook? Are you following us? Ask them to share a photo on Instagram and tag you. Some examples. And then if you are want to get more reviews or feedback, tell us how we did. Do you love us? Tell us. Have 5 minutes. Leave a review. All these are great call to actions that you can use when you're doing your email. If you have an event coming up to drive event registrations, register now. Count me in. Save my spot. I'll be there. Don't miss this event. So there's tons of different ways that you can go about driving action and words that you can use to do so. But you want to make sure that you direct them where to take action, that you don't just tell them to do it, but you actually make that thing that you, the call to action, linkable. Don't have people searching for you or going on Facebook trying to find you. Give them a link, make the text a hyperlink, make the button a link. In this example here, you see that. I'm going to go back and do that again. Here's the email. Here's Facebook page, click, and it brings people through. Don't make them go searching for you. So we're on the last and final step, and that's how to finalize and send your email campaign. I'm just going to kind of recap here. So for profit businesses, what to say and how to say it. Keep in mind what it is that you're offering, how will it help the reader, and what they should do next. What are you offering? How will it help the reader? And what should they do next for profit businesses? Great formula to follow to help you write those emails and not put too much thought into them and make them complicated. If you're a nonprofit, what are you trying to accomplish? Why should the reader care? And how can the reader get involved? 3 points. Most people can remember 3 simple points. Okay. So answer the questions to write your content. Just to recap, every email should have a call to action, and always test links and send a preview. You can actually design your email, set it up, and then send a test to yourself to make sure everything works, because you don't want to send it out and then have to send out a correction email to everybody afterwards. Okay. So today's presentation was done in partnership with my new partner, Constant Contact. And I use this for my business. I use this for my client's business. And they provided me with this access to some information that I can then share with you. And therefore, I just want to take a minute to talk a little bit about their platform. So recently, I've been kind of transitioning some of my business components over. I have multiple businesses, but my main is moving over to this platform. And I have some clients that I have on this platform, and I'm explaining to you why. So for years, I've been managing social media, email marketing, designing logos and websites for people. And there's different types of clients. There's clients who have a skill, who have time to learn how to use a platform and a tool. And then there's clients who are simply hands off, don't want to have nothing to do with it. So what I always thought would be great for small business owners, and especially those who are starting new, is if somebody made a platform that had all that stuff built into one. Now, all these companies now are starting to kind of move in that direction. And I'm finding that Constant Contact has always been a top email provider, but they now have websites. You can manage your social media, you can create logos in there, and you can host a store in there. So for people who are starting a business new, or if you are in business but you don't have a website and you don't have a good way to manage all that stuff, I'm setting up with Constant Contact. I'm actually going to put a link here that you can go if you want to create a trial account, that you can go do so. It should be in the comments already, because I think I put it in my show notes. But you can also reach out to me about how to help you get started with this and how to help you do all this. I think if you're somebody who's going to be doing your own marketing, your own online marketing, this is a great way and an easy way for you to be able to start. That's going to be non-complicated. And then if I'm going to be doing content on this over the week, so I'll always have tutorials. They have tutorials that you can follow, but there'll be a lot of support and resources, if you're looking for something to use in this way. If you already have something that you use, at least the information that I shared with you should still be helpful in helping you kind of formulate those emails and helping you decide, what you need to do in order to take advantage of online marketing, email marketing, and social media marketing, all kind of bundled into one. So again, if you want to go ahead and try this software, you can go. So I have the link here on the screen, but I'll also put the link in the comments for anyone that wants to give it a try. And then I am able to see anybody who kind of goes through this link and sign up. So I'll reach out to you if I see that you created an account. They may contact you and offer you some help, but I'll also reach out to you as well and see if I can help in any way, because that's what I like to do. So that's the presentation for today. That was just a real quick and dirty way to help people understand how email marketing works, how it's effective, and then some quick ways that you can start implementing email marketing into your business and what you're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share so I can come back on the screen. There we go. Cool. I'm going to take a quick look at the comments. I know we went a little over today, but I thought that information was helpful. Thank you. Let's see. Let's take a look here. There we go. So Providers Helper said, great information. I learned something new again. Awesome. Awesome. Always good to do that. Like there's so much information out there, and I'll do my best to kind of take the things that I learned and share them so people can have something that's going to be helpful for them. Dion, thank you so much. We Merge Media has taken my marketing to another level. So Dion's one of my favorite clients because she has it all going on. She lets me do my thing. I love that. That's my favorite way to work. So thank you, Dion, for that compliment. I appreciate that. Jackie's watching the replay. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. So that's the end of the show today. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Again, I know this is a little bit lengthy and in depth, but I know this information is going to be helpful for you. If you need help, go ahead and just simply either comment or message me. Let me know. More than happy to help you. I will be watching this throughout the day. Let's see. Oh, we got a question. Got a question. Cool. Can you add constant contact to your existing website? Absolutely. Thank you, Jan, for that question. So yes, regardless of where your website is hosted, there are a number of ways that you can actually embed constant contact onto your website. So you can paste some code or you can add some link, but yes, the answer is yes. And if you need some help figuring out how to do that, we can set up a consultation. It doesn't take long to do. And I can help you with that. Definitely. You need help? Awesome. Well, make sure that you get the help that you need so you can take advantage of this. All right, everybody. Well, that's our show today. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next week for Tech Talk Tuesday. And stay subscribed. Make sure that you like the page and watch for updates about where we're going to cover next week. Enjoy your Tuesday.